Under the moonlit sky, Amina nervously revealed to Kwame that she was pregnant, a revelation that stunned him into silence. The weight of their secret affair now seemed insurmountable, threatening to shatter the fragile peace they had maintained. As whispers began to spread throughout the village, the tension grew, culminating in a dramatic village council meeting where their fate hung in the balance. The community's reaction was a mix of outrage and sorrow, with Chief Kofi's stern expression reflecting the gravity of their betrayal. The emotional high point left viewers breathless, eager to see if love could survive the storm of scandal and societal judgment. The first days of exile were the hardest for Amina and Kwame. They walked for hours, their feet sore and their bodies tired from the journey. The dense forest offered little comfort with its thick underbrush and the constant rustling of unseen creatures. The reality of their situation was a stark contrast to life in Umbala, and the weight of their banishment pressed heavily on them. Amina, now several months pregnant, struggled with the physical demands of their journey. Her growing belly made it difficult to move quickly, and she often had to stop and rest. Kwame did his best to support her, carrying their few belongings and looking for food and water. Despite his own exhaustion, he remained determined to protect Amina and their unborn child. One evening, as they settled beside a small stream, Kwame looked at Amina with concern. "We need to find a more permanent place to stay," he said, worried. "You need rest, and we need to think about the future, especially with the baby on the way." Amina nodded, her face tired. "I know, Kwame. But where will we go? How will we survive out here on our own?" Kwame took her hand, his grip reassuring. "We'll find a way, Amina. We have to. For the sake of our child, we must stay strong and keep moving forward." The following days were spent searching for a suitable place to settle. They followed the stream, hoping it would lead them to a better area. Along the way, they faced many challenges. Food was scarce, and they had to forage for wild berries and roots. They made simple tools and weapons from materials they found, using their resourcefulness to make up for their lack of supplies. Their bond grew stronger as they faced these hardships together. Each night, they huddled close for warmth and comfort, drawing strength from their love for each other. The wilderness, though harsh, became a backdrop for their resilience and determination. After several weeks of travel, they found a small clearing near a freshwater spring. The area was sheltered by large trees, providing protection from the elements, and there were many edible plants and wildlife. It seemed like the perfect place to make their new home. Kwame began building a shelter using branches and leaves to create a makeshift hut. Amina, despite her condition, helped as much as she could, gathering materials and preparing food. Together, they transformed the clearing into a livable space, a small sanctuary in the wilderness. As the days turned into weeks, they settled into a routine. Kwame hunted and gathered food, while Amina tended to their makeshift home and prepared for the baby's arrival. The harshness of their new life was softened by their love and the hope that they could create a better future for their family. Despite the challenges they faced, Amina and Kwame found moments of joy and contentment. They laughed together, shared stories of their past, and dreamed of a future where they could live without fear. Their love, though tested by adversity, remained a beacon of hope in dark times. But the wilderness was unpredictable, and their newfound peace was fragile. As Amina's due date approached, they knew that the trials they had faced so far were only the beginning. The journey ahead would bring even greater challenges, and their love would be tested in ways they could never have imagined. As the weeks turned into months, Amina and Kwame adapted to their new life in the wilderness. The small clearing near the freshwater spring became their safe place, where they could find some stability amid the harsh realities of exile. They faced each day with determination, drawing strength from each other and their hope for the future. Kwame took on the role of provider and protector. He spent his days hunting small animals, fishing in the stream, and gathering edible plants and roots. His skills in tracking and survival, developed from years in the savannah, were invaluable. He made tools and weapons from wood and stone, using his resourcefulness to ensure they had what they needed to survive. Amina, despite the physical toll of her pregnancy, helped in every way she could. She prepared the food Kwame brought back, using her knowledge of herbs and plants to make nourishing meals. She also maintained their shelter, adding branches and leaves to keep out the weather. Her strength and resilience were clear, even as her body grew heavier with the impending birth of their child. Their routine, though demanding, brought them closer together. They worked side by side, each task a reminder of their commitment to each other and their unborn child. Despite the constant challenges, they found moments of joy and comfort in their shared efforts. The bond between them grew stronger, their love a beacon of hope in a difficult life. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Amina looked at Kwame with a mix of gratitude and affection. "Kwame, I don't know how I would have survived without you. Your strength gives me hope, even in the darkest times." Kwame smiled, his eyes filled with love. "We are in this together, Amina. Your courage and resilience inspire me every day. We will get through this, and we will build a future for our child." As Amina's due date approached, the reality of their situation became even more urgent. The wilderness, though providing for their basic needs, was full of dangers. Predators roamed the forest, and the weather could be unpredictable and harsh. Kwame's main concern was ensuring Amina's safety and preparing for the birth of their child. One stormy night, as rain poured down and lightning lit up the sky, Amina went into labor. The pain was intense, and fear gripped both of them as they faced the unknown. Kwame did his best to comfort and support her, using what little he knew about childbirth. The storm raged outside, adding to the chaos of the moment. Hours passed, each one filled with a mix of fear and determination. Finally, as the first light of dawn broke through the storm clouds, Amina gave birth to a healthy baby boy. The sound of the newborn's cries filled the air, a reminder of the preciousness of life even in the most challenging circumstances. Kwame held his son in his arms, his heart swelling with love and pride. Amina, though exhausted, looked at her child with tears of joy in her eyes. They had faced incredible odds and emerged victorious, their love and resilience rewarded with the miracle of new life. The birth of their son gave Amina and Kwame a renewed sense of purpose. Despite the hardships, they now had a new focus: to care for and protect their child. The challenges of their exile seemed less daunting with their new responsibility. Their love for each other, and now for their son, gave them the strength to keep moving forward. Naming their child was an important moment for them. They chose to honor Chief Kofi by naming their son after him, hoping the name would connect them to their past and bring blessings for the future. Little Kofi, as they called him, became the center of their world, a source of endless joy and motivation. Life in the wilderness, though still tough and demanding, took on a new rhythm with Kofi's arrival. Kwame continued his efforts to hunt, gather, and provide for his family, now with even more determination. Each successful hunt, each meal prepared, and each night spent safely in their shelter felt like a small victory, a step towards securing a future for their son. Amina, while caring for the newborn, also contributed to their survival. She used her knowledge of herbs and plants to create remedies and nourishment for Kofi, ensuring his health. Her maternal instincts, combined with her intelligence and resourcefulness, made her an invaluable partner in their struggle. As Kofi grew, so did the bond between Amina and Kwame. Their shared experiences, the trials they faced, and their love for their son brought them closer than ever. They found solace and strength in each other, drawing from their collective resilience to face each new day. The wilderness, though still challenging, seemed less daunting with the promise of their future together. Their small family became a close-knit unit, a beacon of hope and love amidst adversity. The challenges they faced, from finding food to protecting themselves from the elements, were met with unwavering resolve. Each day was a testament to their strength and determination, a reminder of the power of love and the human spirit. Despite the isolation and constant threat of danger, Amina and Kwame found moments of happiness and peace. They watched with pride as Kofi took his first steps, said his first words, and explored the world with wide-eyed wonder. These simple moments were profound reminders of the beauty and resilience of life. The birth of their son had transformed their exile from a journey of survival into a journey of hope and love. Amina and Kwame, united by their experiences and strengthened by their love, faced the future with a renewed sense of purpose. They knew the road ahead would still be challenging, but they also knew that together they could overcome anything. Their love, and the life they had brought into the world, was their greatest strength and their guiding light. Whilst the birth of their son, Kofi, brought great joy to Amina and Kwame, it also introduced new challenges in their tough life in the wilderness. Caring for a newborn in such harsh conditions required resilience, ingenuity, and unwavering commitment to each other and their child's well-being. Each day tested their endurance and resourcefulness, pushing them to their limits, but also strengthening their bond. As Kwame took on the role of provider and protector with renewed determination, Amina, despite her weakened state after childbirth, contributed in every way she could. She took care of Kofi, ensuring he was warm, fed, and protected. Her knowledge of herbal medicine was invaluable, allowing her to treat minor illnesses and injuries. She also helped Kwame by gathering edible plants and preparing meals, using her creativity to make the most of their limited resources. Their daily routine was a delicate balance of survival and care. The nights were often cold and filled with forest sounds, but they found comfort in each other's presence, huddled together for warmth and reassurance. One particularly harsh season brought new challenges. The cold was relentless, and food became scarce. Kwame's hunts were less successful, and the constant struggle to find enough to eat took a toll on both their bodies and spirits. Amina's health began to suffer, and Kofi, still a fragile infant, needed constant care to stay warm and nourished. Despite the hardships, their love for each other and their son kept them going. They found strength in the small victories, a successful hunt, a warm fire, a moment of laughter shared amid their struggle. These moments, though brief, were reminders of the life and love they were fighting for. One night, as they huddled together by the fire, Kwame looked at Amina with determination. "We will get through this, Amina. No matter how hard it gets, we have each other and our son. Our love will guide us through." Amina, though exhausted, nodded and smiled weakly. "Yes, Kwame, we are strong and we will overcome, for Kofi and for us." Their resilience was tested to the limit, but they refused to give up. The cold season eventually passed, and with the arrival of spring, the forest began to bloom again. The abundance of food and resources brought relief and renewed hope. Kwame and Amina worked tirelessly to rebuild their strength and prepare for the seasons ahead, knowing each day was a precious gift. As Kofi grew, he became a source of joy and inspiration for his parents. His laughter and curiosity brought light to their darkest days, and his presence reminded them of the love and hope that had sustained them through their trials. Amina and Kwame watched with pride as their son explored the world around him, his innocence and wonder a stark contrast to the hardships they had faced. The struggle for survival in the wilderness was a constant challenge, but Amina and Kwame's love and determination never wavered. They faced each day with courage and hope, knowing that together they could overcome any obstacle. Their journey was far from over, but they had already proven that their love was stronger than the harshest trials, and that their bond was unbreakable. Years passed, and the hardships of the wilderness turned Amina and Kwame into strong survivors. Their son Kofi grew into a curious and energetic boy. Though they found comfort in each other, the harsh reality of their exile was always present. The thought of returning to Umbala, seeking forgiveness and reconciliation, lingered in their hearts. As Kofi grew older, he asked questions about his heritage and the village his parents often spoke of, with both fondness and sadness. He wanted to know where he came from and why they lived in the forest. These questions stirred a longing in Amina and Kwame, making them want to reconnect with their roots and show their son the place they had once called home. One evening, as they sat around the fire, Kofi asked, "Mama, Papa, can we ever go back to Umbala? I want to see the village you always talk about. I want to meet my grandfather." Amina and Kwame exchanged a solemn glance. The years had softened their bitterness, and the idea of returning to seek forgiveness had grown in their hearts. They knew it was risky, but they felt it was necessary for their son's future and their own healing. Kwame took a deep breath and said, "Kofi, it's a difficult journey, and the village may not welcome us back. But I believe it's time we try. We need to face our past and seek forgiveness, if not for ourselves, then for you, our son." Amina nodded. "Yes, Kofi. We owe it to you to show you where you come from and to try to mend the ties that were broken. We will go back to Umbala and face whatever awaits us." They began to prepare for the journey, gathering supplies for the long and challenging trek back to Umbala. The years in the wilderness had taught them how to survive, but they were uncertain how the village would receive them. As they approached the outskirts of Umbala, memories of their previous life flooded back. The familiar sights and sounds of the village stirred a mix of emotions: fear, hope, nostalgia, and apprehension. They knew the villagers might still harbor resentment, and their return could reopen old wounds. When they finally reached the village, their arrival caused a stir. The villagers, wary and curious, gathered around to see the family that had been exiled so many years ago. Whispers and murmurs filled the air as they recognized Kwame and Amina, now weathered by time, and saw the young boy with them. Chief Kofi, now an old man, emerged from his hut, his expression a mix of shock and confusion. He had long resigned himself to the loss of his son and the betrayal that had shattered his family. Seeing Kwame and Amina again, along with their child, brought a flood of emotions. Kwame stepped forward, his voice steady but emotional. "Father, we have come to seek your forgiveness. We know the pain we caused, and we are deeply sorry. This is our son Kofi. We want him to know his heritage and to find a place in this village." Chief Kofi's stern expression softened as he looked at his grandson. The boy's resemblance to Kwame was unmistakable, and a sense of family stirred within him. The years of distance and reflection had tempered his anger, and he felt a glimmer of hope for reconciliation. The villagers watched intently, their opinions divided. Some were still angry and unforgiving, while others were moved by the family's courage and sincerity. The path to forgiveness and acceptance would not be easy, but young Kofi seemed to bridge the gap, offering a chance for healing and renewal. Chief Kofi, after a long moment of thought, nodded slowly. "You have returned, and you have brought a child who is a part of this village. we will find a way to move forward. Let us start by understanding each other again and rebuilding the bonds that were broken. The journey of reconciliation had begun. Amina, Kwame, and Kofi stood together, facing the future with a renewed sense of purpose and hope. The road ahead would be filled with challenges, but they were determined to rebuild their lives and relationships, guided by the strength of their love and the lessons they had learned in the wilderness. Hope you enjoyed the story. Don't forget to subscribe to get notified when new stories are uploaded. Like and share with friends and family. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you again soon.